Hello teacher, this is my lesson plan number 9. The theme for this is passive voice for the grade first baccalaureate, and the duration of the class is 45 minutes. The level of students is elementary A2.2. The first part of the lesson plan that is very important is the objectives. First, we have to set the objectives in a lesson plan. For listening, the students will be able to identify the passive voice between active voice. Speaking, the students will be able to introduce a piece of news. For reading, the students will be able to recognize the passive voice between active voice. For writing, the students write sentences, negatives, positives, or questions, using appropriately the passive voice. For methodology and strategies, I have communicative language teaching, the PP, the presentation, practice, and production. For strategies, I have visual scaffolding. This providing language support through visual images. Pair work, worksheet, communicative activities. The strategies are very important when we plan a lesson. It's very important. We have to catch the attention of our students. Like this anticipatory set, the teacher shows the students a video about the passive voice and the difference with active voice, as well as they can use in questions. The anticipatory set is very important in the lesson plan because it's the perfect moment to catch the attention of our students. So I think that to put a video for them, it's very important. And I think that it's a good strategy to catch their attention. In main teaching input, for warm-up activity, the teacher writes some sentences in the whiteboard in active voice and change to the passive voice. This exercise is very important because the teacher write a lot of sentences in the whiteboard, and the students have to note the difference between the passive voice that they saw in the video. And then teacher projects a PowerPoint presentation in which explains the grammatical structure, the changes that there are between passive and active voice, as well as the rules that are necessary to follow. Teacher gives the students a worksheet with an exercise. Students work in pairs, completing it. Communicative activities is a strategy here. The teacher gives to students a worksheet. This is a good supplementary material because they have the space to work on it. Teacher and the students check the answers, asking students to explain their answers. This is the moment that teacher check the answers from their students. It's important to check after each exercise. It's a good way to know that the students are learning and are understand. Teacher checks the correct pronunciation. The pronunciation is a very important part in a class. Teacher and the students conclude the class by reviewing the topic briefly. It's important to make a review at the end of the class. Okay, we have modeling. The explanation and the examples, as well as the answers to the presentation, passive voice provided by the teacher, are clear, contextualized models that students can use in context in a correct form. Guided practice, other important aspect in the lesson plan. Students in pairs develop an activity which is about the completion, a worksheet. Teacher is monitoring the activity. When students finished, they check the answers with the whole group. The guided practice is very important in the lesson plan because it's a space that the students work alone, and the teacher can check if they are doing the exercises in a correct form. But the teacher helps in every moment. Okay, continue. Independence practice. Students write 5 sentences in active voice, and they should change to passive voice. Activity in their notebooks. Okay, independent practice, it's very important too, because the students work in this space alone. And when they finished the exercise, the teacher check if all the answers are correct. Continue with assessment. Students' participation. The teacher must check that all the students participate in the class. It's very important. And I think that 50% of the time the class is for students and the 50% for the teacher. They read their sentences to the class. The students read the sentence to the class. It is very important too. And at the end, closing review and follow-up. At the end of the class, it's important to make a brief review about the topic. For homework, students should write 10 questions in passive voice. The homework, it's very important for students because they can learn at home, and at the next day the teacher checks if the students understand or not. This is all. Thank you.